I thought I would take a little break from anthropology this weekend by catching a hockey game. But as I looked out at the players skating around, it got me thinking about the Ice Age and a recent article I had just read regarding discoveries made on the Canary Islands. The Canary Islands are located just off the coast of Africa, in the Atlantic, about 62 miles west of Morocco, in a region known as Micronesia. The largest of the 8 main islands is called Tenerife, with about a half a dozen other smaller islands that make up the archipelago. In ancient times, the island chain was often referred to as the Fortunate Islands, and historically have been considered a bridge in the Atlantic Ocean between the 4 continents: Africa, North America, South America, and Europe. The Canaries, as they're informally called, have a population of just over 2 million inhabitants, with almost half living on Tenerife, which sees about 5 million tourists a year, one of the most important tourist destinations in Spain, of which it's technically a part of since 1496, when the island was officially conquered. The aboriginal inhabitants were called Guanches, which literally means person of Tenerife, and they were fierce fighters, handing the Spanish forces and their European allies a crushing defeat in their first major battle in 1494. That said, many of the natives died from new European infectious diseases, such as the flu and probably smallpox, to which they lacked resistance and immunity, with many of the surviving women intermarrying with the colonists as they were regarded as extremely beautiful, attractive, and desirable. Genetically speaking, the native aboriginal population were most similar to the native Berbers of North Africa, who called themselves Amazigh, confirmed by data from genome-wide testing in 2017. They were tall, fair-skinned, with much of the population being blonde or redheaded, which can be attested to not only through DNA, but by the mummies they left by their ruling class. Population demographics change, and the ethnic makeup you see somewhere today, such as in North Africa, for example, is different than it was in the past, especially over centuries or millennia. The native population of North Africa, which should probably be named South Mediterranean instead, consists of people who, prior to Islamification, slave trades, and migrations, were genetically closest to certain Europeans, such as the ancient Basque, who lived between Spain and France, who also shared genetic affinities to the fair-skinned mummies of Tenerife. This week, it was reported that in addition to the mummies that were found on the island, a collective burial has been discovered by drone. We are in a burial cave in a cemetery of the ancient Canary Islands. It is a collective burial. They regularly use these ancient caves to bury their dead. We're talking about a human collective, a burial that represents the entire community. We have men and we have women of different ages represented, including many children. In addition to the skeletal remains that we are finding, we also find the remains of the wraps with which they are buried with. In this location, we have deposits, a minimum number of 65 individuals. The site is unique, special, as it teaches us about the past, reminds us about our identity and who we are. The human remains on the Canary Islands are in exceptional condition and, most importantly, shows human collaboration. It is imperative that we continue to invite people who want to participate and provide archaeological assistance, paying special attention to conservation, and so it is important for people to participate collaborate, and feel that it is all about our responsibility to conserve our heritage, to protect it, in addition to learning from it. The Guanches were the last known Caucasian-type people still living in the Stone Age when they were conquered by the Spanish, as the island had no metal, and the Guanches had no boats. In fact, they seemed to have a distinct fear of the water, and lived on Tenerife only, not even traveling to other islands in the archipelago. That said, DNA sequencing of Cro-Magnon types conclude that they were genetically identical to certain modern European demographics. Would you like to guess which ones? The museum on Tenerife boasts the largest collection of Cro-Magnon skulls anywhere in the world, and the Guanches, the original natives of the Canary Islands, were direct descendants of Cro-Magnon, which in my book, Species with Amnesia, I explain is the origin of Rh-negative blood type, which incidentally is not a mutation. I'll include a link in the description to a video I did on this subject, which covers it in a bit more detail. In other relatively recent news, sub-Saharan West Africans have been shown to have DNA from what the media is calling a ghost species, not found in Europeans or East Asians. They use the term ghost because it shows up genetically in sequenced DNA, but they have yet to conclusively identify the hominin species in the fossil record, only saying that it appears to be very archaic, a term meaning old, or a very distant ancestor, technically another species like Homo erectus, and unlike Cro-Magnon, which is considered fully modern and first shows up in the fossil and genetic record about 35,000 years ago during the Ice Age. My name is Robert Sepehr. I'm an anthropologist. You can find my published books on Amazon. They make a great gift. Thank you to those who support me on Patreon. There should be a link below in the description if you're interested. Kindly share this video if you found it informative and hit the like button. Please don't forget to subscribe. I look forward to reading your thoughts in the comment section as always. Please have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you again soon.